Hello, my healthy warrior. In today's episode, we're going to talk about why I do what I do. As a registered nurse for over 20 years, can y'all believe I was losing my memory at the age of 30? Man, when I learned that there was so much that was connected to this issue and the why and the what and the how behind it, not only was I upset, but I also wanted to educate more people on the problem, and this problem that I found was insulin resistance. Today, we're going to talk about insulin resistance, what to do about it, how do you know if you have it, and three things that will help you right now as you learn some vital information that you may not have known before. Welcome. If you're tired of sugar cravings, brain fog, fatigue, and all the conflicting health and diet advice, and you just want to know what's happening inside of your body, you're in the right place. I'm Tashawn Davis, holistic health coach, registered nurse, and metabolic health educator. I help you break sugar cravings through balanced blood sugar so you can take your health back naturally. So grab your favorite sugar-free drink, pop in those earbuds, and let's learn how to work with our body and not against it. Hey, health warrior, it is time to snatch our health back. So I would love to share a few resources that I have available. I have a Facebook group called Health Beyond Weight Loss, Metabolic Health, and Insulin Resistance, where I share many infographics and videos, meal plans, and accountability. That is the biggest thing a lot of us suffer with. I also have written two books, one called Uproot the Cravings, where there's a 21-day sugar detox and devotional journal that will help us to kick that sugar habit. Also, Sugar Deception, where I talk about how sugar affects every system of the body. So if you know of anyone who is suffering with any system of the body, maybe pass that book on, take a picture, let them see that possibly sugar and carbohydrates may be the issue. And if you want to work with me, all the ways you can work with me is on www.writethevision22.com. So imagine this. You enter the room, right? Going into this room, picking up something, I'm getting something. I walked into this room for a reason. And a lot of times when we just have so much to do, regular memory loss, you can walk back out, and by the time you get halfway to the other place you're going, you remember, oh, that's what I went for. I went to pick up my phone or whatever the case might be. But what happens when you just stop remembering things? When you just are like, I really can't remember why I came into this room. I was 30 years old, and I remember this happening to me so specifically. And that's when I knew that there was more to what was going on in my body than I care to admit. I was losing my memory in my 30s. I was having chronic urinary tract infections. I was having chronic yeast infections every single month, predictably. Now, I had learned about my body and changed my diet. I had vegan, vegetarian, all the things, but I still ended up losing my memory. I found out after a while that there were some things that were missing in my diet that actually was causing me to continue to have this memory loss. And if I did not address it soon enough, that I would be on the other side of dementia. Heaven knows that this is not where I wanted to be, especially in my 30s. So what did I do? So I went to the library, y'all. I picked up every book I could pick up. Every book on it was called brain grain, sugar, whatever. I Physiology actually is where I started, and then it kind of led me to check out more books because I wanted to know what is happening. Now, they told us to get rid of fat, cholesterol, salt. I'm very careful about all of that stuff, and I'm being very careful. So why is my health deteriorating? Why am I still having these issues? And I found out about insulin resistance. How? Because I heard someone talking about dementia, type 3 diabetes, and I'm like, what? And then I seen someone, a doctor who was treating her husband and by increasing healthy fats. It was coconut oil specifically. She had given her husband had taken that clock test and he failed it. And then after providing this treatment of coconut oil, increasing the healthy fats, decreasing carbs and sugar, his test came back normal. Like, he improved to a point to where I'm like, "Oh, I need to look into this a little bit more. What is happening?" And so that's where my journey began. That was about over a decade ago. And since then, I don't suffer with any UTIs. I don't suffer with any memory loss, brain fog occasionally. Depends on how busy I am and if I've been eating as clean as I should. There'll be ingredients that we'll talk about on this podcast that if you're targeting certain things that you have to avoid. But yeah, so I went all for it. I'm like, okay, all right, I see the problem and I see the connection. And so with this connection, I'm like, okay, what do I need to do first? So, the first thing that we always have to do whenever we're faced with something different, we have to find out, where am I now? We evaluate the where. Where am I now? What am I exactly doing? So, I looked into my diet. Potatoes, were a staple, just different things, that processed foods and sugars and things wasn't at a point to where I was carrying a lot, but I knew enough to not do the extreme, if that makes sense. But so I had to evaluate, where am I? And then when I found out where am I had to find someone that could explain to me still and guide me through these things. And so what I did next was I found out, who is it that can help me to navigate this better? Because as a nurse, I want facts. I want to know what's going on. I want to know, okay, give me the why behind it. So I found someone that I trusted to help me walk through this new situation of, okay, insulin resistance, it's my brain. What kind of stuff do I need to do? And number three, once I found out what I needed to do, I had to implement it. Yeah, you actually got to do the thing. Once you find out what you need to do, you got to do the thing. And so doing the thing for me meant, okay, there is a plan. I'm going to follow it. I'm going to decrease sugar and carbohydrates, and I'm going to learn the physiology behind it. Is this real? Is this physiology that I'm seeing and understanding? Is this thing real? And when I found out that, yes, insulin resistance is real. What is insulin resistance? It's the insulin resistance is when your cells no longer respond to the signal of insulin. And so what happens is you have a full cell, and insulin unlocks the door to let energy in to be used. But whenever you have too much insulin in your body from eating an excess amount of carbohydrates and sugar, the key does no longer work. So we can't use that energy that was meant to be provided from the food. And so insulin I always says it's like it wreaks havoc. It hangs out on cells that we need to produce things like our other hormones. Insulin is a master hormone. So it can cause PCOS. It can cause our aldosterone, which controls our kidneys, the fluid coming in and going out. It controls our brain. Our brain may be too full and we can't receive the insulin, the energy that we need to think properly. High blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, so much is associated with insulin resistance. And so this is the what of what was happening, and the why, because I was eating so many carbs and sugars, and what to do about it. Of course, decrease the carbs and sugars. So if you have any issues in these areas, you notice where it is, let's first find out where we are. Stop and take a moment. Like, what am I doing? And then we need to say, who can help me get through this thing that I've experienced, that I understand now is a problem? And then we have to implement it. We have to do the thing. The Bible says in James 1:22, we must be doers and not only hearers. So in all that we do, and it also says in all that you do, get understanding. We need to get understanding of what we're doing, because people perish because of lack of knowledge. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode today, y'all. Today, do the thing. Where are you? Who can help you? And implement the thing. Just another quick reminder, visit us at www.writethevision22.com. Visit my Amazon page for Sugar Deception and Uproot the Cravings, and join our Facebook group, Health Beyond Weight Loss, Insulin Resistance, and Metabolic Health. Alrighty, my friend, if this episode has helped you understand your body a little bit better and helped you have the confidence to make better informed healthcare decisions, share it with someone you know who may be struggling with sugar cravings, brain fog, or fatigue, because they may not even realize that blood sugar could be the reason. And also leave a review, because it really helps more people find this. Remember, the goal is to reverse 1 million type 2 diabetes in my lifetime. And as always, I want to remind you, the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. And some people are fighting every day just to have the health and energy to live their everyday life that they were called to live. So I am praying for your health. I am praying for your strength, and I'll see you in the next episode.